The music industry has obviously continued to react to the George Floyd protests that have happened, definitely nationwide in the United States, but continually in the rest of the world. One thing that was the start of it was Blackout Tuesday. Most people recognize this as like on Instagram or Twitter, on Facebook, people making their profile pictures or posting just like black boxes, which is not exactly what it was supposed to be about. And I know this is like a lot of politics for like the music podcast, but like this is squarely in the center of music because
it started out as a musician's Blackout Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was started by two black women who are music executives, and they were like, we want to do kind of like a silent protest of because the music industry is so heavily influenced by African American culture.
Exactly.
If we step out from it for a day, a lot of the machinations of that industry will kind of cease to work, and you can kind of see the impact of why Black Lives Matter, especially in a financial sense in that way. But it was a good kind of idea to do like outreach and things like that, and it worked really well in the music industry. Obviously, it kind of got co-opted by other industries, and they showed support, but it started drowning out the messages from other Black Lives Matter activists because it was using that hashtag, and it was just replacing actual information and stuff about ongoing protests against the government in a lot of extents with black squares, which isn't great. And of course, there's always like hashtag activism where you like do a post and say some things, but you don't back it up with stuff. So there was that aspect of it. I think that's kind of enough to be said about it there. But as far as the music world goes, Apple Music released some statements. Atlantic Records did. Columbia did. Def Jam, of course, had a large thread about it on Twitter where they talked about meeting in a town hall and sharing their feelings and having like internal conversations about these stuff. Live Nation, Interscope, Geffen, RCA Records, Republic Records. So really like a lot of the big record labels all did their own things because like, again, music is like basically untouched by black culture in the United States and by black people in the United States. Republic Records did something very interesting, which is in addition to kind of their statement on the issue and wanting to listen to black voices, they also noted, announcing in social media posts that effective immediately, Republic Records will remove urban from our verbiage describing departments, employee titles, and music genres. We encourage the rest of the music industry to follow suit as it is important to shape the future of what we want it to look like and not adhere to the outdated structures of the past.
And I like that a lot because we talked about this before on the Grammys where they have the urban category. We go, okay, you should probably get rid of that because what the hell is urban?
Yeah, it's meant to be like a connotation. They want to say black people music. It'd be too on the nose if they did. So they say urban. Yeah.
And it's just bad.
And then we have like minor qualms with like the R&B genre because but that's largely a music thing because it encompasses so many different
it's way
genres.
Too broad,
that's really
way too broad.
It also tends to pigeonhole a lot of artists who would naturally be considered as pop, but they just happen to be of color. Especially women, so that's one thing to note. But urban is just like very much like it's bad. It's low hanging fruit. So I'm glad Republic is at least taking.
How the creators like, can y'all like change that name, please?
Yeah, that's true. He was really on that. I totally forgot about that. But it's good that Republic Records is using their voices to do that, and hopefully other ones continue. A lot of the streaming platforms had like special podcasts or 8-minute, 46-second things to commemorate George Floyd's murder. And of course, a lot of them opened their wallets and donated a lot of money. I think Universal donated like $100 million to charitable causes related to the music industry, social justice campaigns, and violence and racism. So,
how about you pay your artists?
A, how about you pay your black artists? That's very important. B, there's also the idea that I see like a lot of money is being flooded toward these things. A lot of companies for PR reasons, keeping it simple, are saying like, we're doing it to these causes, but they're not very clear about what those causes are, per se.
It's like the Spotify thing where we're donating to this and that. We talked about a couple weeks back.
For COVID relief.
Yeah, for COVID relief. Like, where does it go?
And where exactly
where does all this money go?
And it's a thing you are very aware of, or at least you can be very aware of if you're paying attention to politics, as I was, where you can say money is going towards these causes and it hits the right buzzwords for people. But when you do the research as to, okay, A, did it actually go to those organizations? B, are those organizations, do they have a track record of spending this money well? And then C, ultimately, did that follow through? I think that'll be the important thing to really think about for the future in the next 1, 2, 3 years, because this is all good talk, this is all good action. I don't mean to disparage it, because I can be really negative about these things very often, but I want to. The reason why this became such an outburst, and the reason why people are so upset about it, is because so much has been said, but not a lot has been done. And there's been a lot of frustration with that. And so now, hopefully, things are being done. As we wrap out the music industry related part of this story, a lot of the artists who make major songs about police brutality, protesting, kind of just like empowerment in general, that are contemporary artists, saw their streams increase during the nationwide protests. Artists like Childish Gambino, of course, This Is America, NWA, do I really even need to say it? Kendrick Lamar, Beyonce, Public Enemy, D'Angelo, Killer Mike. A lot of these artists saw songs really just blow up. Kendrick Lamar's staple All Right went up 71%. Beyonce's Freedom went up 70%. The Charade by D'Angelo and the Vanguard went up by 122%. That's a very understated song on that album, but I'm really glad it's getting the credit there. Yeah, even James Brown's Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud saw a 455% increase as to usual. So, I mean, they're getting their credit and dues, thankfully. So hopefully those eighths of eighths of eighths of eighths of pennies add up.